Well, it's time to get a bite on the Texas bucket list, and this week we are in the beautiful hill country to get an international experience at Tillie's. When it comes to visions of the Texas hill country, rustic places to stay, wineries, and even tree houses are usually the first things that come to mind. But over in Dripping Springs, you'll find Camp Lucy, which has taken some flavors from around the world and planted them smack dab in the middle of the Lone Star State.
There's no place that exists like this.
It's like a sweet little surprise when you pull in. You're just like, oh my gosh.
It's just an otherworldly experience, I would say.
Whit Hank's family founded this place back in 1985, when his parents purchased the property as a weekend getaway.
My mother fondly spent her time out here. This was her favorite place, being out in the country.
Whit went on to be an antiques dealer and real estate developer, but he wanted to turn his parents' old place into something that Texans could enjoy. So in 2018, he created Camp Lucy, a property that started off as a wedding venue with several antique buildings from Vietnam, has turned into a tranquil place to get away from it all.
We have a total of 7 Vietnamese buildings that have been incorporated into the infrastructure.
So this is an old building from Vietnam?
Mm-hmm. From about, I'd say 1880.
Wow.
From an area not too far from Da Nang, about the middle of Vietnam, south of Hanoi, about 100 miles.
These old buildings, surrounded by green gardens, provide the perfect setting for a picturesque wedding. But dealing with brides was something that Whit didn't want to do.
Kim appeared on the scene and said she could run weddings out here. And I'm like, well, I sure can't. So if you want to, then fine, you do it and you can pay me rent. And after a while, she was doing so well, it was cheaper to marry her.
I married well.
Yeah.
He's a really interesting guy, and he had this great property, and he had no idea what to do with it. So I did. I had a couple ideas.
Kim brings the pizzazz to the party.
Isn't that what the gods did? They ate gold leaf with their fingers.
That's crazy.
It's been a wild ride, let me tell you. She's got a lot of get up and go.
As Camp Lucy grew, Whit wanted to put a place to eat on the property.
I wanted it to be a hamburger stand. You'll notice I have a pool over there, and I had in mind that it was like going to the country club and you'd go up to the place where you got french fries and burgers and tater tots, and then you'd take it back to the pool. And unfortunately, then I bought this building, and the architects got a hold of it, and it just got fancier and fancier and fancier.
We were going to have hamburgers and nachos, and then as we started building this beautiful structure, it just didn't feel right.
So the couple created Tillie's, a top-notch eatery with exquisite food pairings for any fancy night out with your +1.
Okay, it's going to take more than hamburgers to pay for this place.
Romantic dinners in a stunning setting surrounded by antique saints is a sure way to impress a date. But if you're looking for a more whimsical experience, Tillie's also offers tea time. Never in my life did I think I was going to have tea time here in Texas, but I'll be darned.
Oh, why not? Did you ever think you would dine in a Vietnamese town hall?
No, not at all.
Probably not. No.
This is all new to me.
I will admit that was my first reaction.
Well, it's like bringing a little bit of England to Texas.
I mean, tea time and let me try that again.
I never thought I'd come to Dripping Springs to sit in a Vietnamese building to have English tea time.
That's why you're here. We are different.
We knew that we wanted to take some of the traditions from England and we wanted to marry it with some of the traditions from Texas. So the flavors are going to be a little bit different.
Okay, so some little Texas flair in some of this stuff.
Yes.
Fine china from England, along with a tiered tray of some of the finest finger foods we've ever found, make this experience at Tillie's a tough one to pass up. Well, looking at these 3 tiers, I know we start from the bottom up. It looks like you kind of go sweet, savory, sweet.
Yes, you do. So you would start with your scones. So let's dig in.
Each one of these marvelous morsels are made up by pastry chef Hannah Smith. The first on my list to try is definitely the scones.
You see the crisp? The crisp on the outside, right?
Yeah, I love scones. And I think it's my Irish, heritage. For some reason, this feels right. Tea and scones.
It's just deliciously handmade pastries and homemade goods that just set that heart on fire.
So this takes place at lunch in England?
It takes place between 2 and 4.
Do they still do lunch?
No, they would do a big breakfast,
That makes sense.
I've never experienced tea time before. I haven't made it across the pond, they say. So it was cool to be able to have that experience right here in Dripping.
This one right here is a deviled egg, a little pot of choux sandwich.
The pot of choux is the bread.
The pot of choux is the bread.
Okay.
Like I said, it's like croquembouche. So deviled egg.
All right. Oh man, I love deviled eggs, and that is awesome.
I do too. I love deviled eggs.
Oh.
It's kind of exciting to sample each little item and, you know, kind of let the flavors dance on your taste buds.
What's fun about these is, do you know that these eggs come from Camp Lucy?
Oh, really? They're made here?
They do.
Wow.
So we have silky bantam chickens.
They're the ones with the weird feathers, right?
Fancy designer. They're adorable.
It's magical because it is situated in its own kind of ecosystem, little hill country forest.
And you have to close things out with some delicate dessert.
Our Texas honey cake.
Yeah, that looks amazing.
It's really good.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Isn't that good?
Oh man.
Hannah's desserts are the best.
Man, whenever I have tea time with my daughters, we're doing it totally wrong. We gotta step up our game.
You have to step up your game.
Yeah.
You really do.
A proper high tea, it gives it more meaning.
Well, here's to toasting to Texas with some tea on the Texas bucket list.
A little bit of English culture brought right here to the hill country.
It's kind of fun to see how other cultures celebrate.
Well, thanks for watching this segment of the Texas Bucket List. To see more, be sure you subscribe to our channel. And to see full episodes, become a member. In the meantime, you can also shop our store at the Texas Bucket List Store and Studio.